I'm Richard Porter.
I'm Jonny Smith.
And this is Smith and Sniff, a podcast in which two friends talk about cars live in Manchester. Hi, everyone. Hello.
Thanks for
All right.
Thanks for coming.
All right.
Tesla Manchester, thanks for having us.
This is like a homecoming show for me, sort of.
What, a dealership in Manchester?
Yes.
Is it?
Oh, born and raised. No, because I grew up near Manchester. Occasionally, when I was younger, people go, where are you from? I'd go, Manchester. Because if I said Wilmslow, they'd go, yeah, posh twat. Anyone here from Wilmslow? You can say it, it's all right, I'm not going to call you a posh twat. How do? As we say in Wilmslow. Hello. Yeah, so this is coming home. Except, a bit annoyed with Manchester because I turned my back and everything's been moved around.
Oh, yeah. Awful.
Market Street was not where it used to be. When we had to go into town this afternoon on an emergency mission to buy an audio spares part from Curry's, which turned out to be in the Arndale Centre, which is not as crap as I remember, but is still quite crap and hard to find your way around.
I thought we were going to be late for this podcast because we got caught in the rush hour in a borrowed car trying to find a 3.5 mil jack generic plug that neither of us had brought with us today. So we scuttled into town, got stuck in all of the traffic in the world.
All of the traffic.
And there was only two things that redeemed it. One of them was we got stuck in solid traffic outside a place called Whispering Smith.
Yes.
Which we still don't know what it is. It could be everything from a bookshop to a sex club. I still don't know. We haven't even looked it up yet.
We did decide that it was in quite a high footfall location for a sex club. But I don't know. Manchester's changed a lot recently.
Well, and I've never heard of Whispering Smith, so we saw that. And then we saw that sort of bar which you might be able to get shishas from, called Eagle, with the best logo. It had sparkles, backlighting, metal flake.
Did it have a light that moved? I think it might have done.
You know those shimmering sequins that you get on quite downtrodden seaside arcades? It had a back sort of shimmer about that, which I liked. It was about yay big, about 2 meters. It's huge. I'd like it. But I don't pinch stuff anymore. So
anymore.
I found something that I stole years ago. I found a Don't Let Your Dog Mess Here Taunton Dean Borough Council metal badge that I must have unscrewed off a post many years ago. I actually found it in a box. I don't know why I stole that. No idea. But the fine was only 20 quid if your dog gets caught messing and you don't clear it up, obviously.
Oh, right, yeah, they're not fining the dog.
So I was trying to work out how old it is based upon the amount of fining for dog.
Do you know what the fine is now?
I don't. Does anyone know what the fine is for letting your dog
there's a man down the front put his hand
on?
up. 1,000.
1,000 quid.
£1,000. My dog's got not £1,000. She hasn't got any pockets for a start. Where's she? It's like the French police, when you haven't got the money on you, they take you to a cash machine. But what's she going to do?
Yeah. That shit's real.
Oh.
That's happened.
That's my dog. I wasn't just making noise. Where were we? Already gone off track.
Dog's mess signs that I stole.
Oh, right. Yeah, I stole one of those sort of temporary kind of plasticized cardboard ones that says no road markings.
Oh, yeah.
They were resurfacing a road in Wilmslow. And I nicked that. It's a shit crime, that, because I imagine they cost about 50p tops to local council. And they've probably got loads of them. So it's a very minor crime. But then I went back, possibly to the same roadworks, and stole a flashing light.
Oh, I used to have a flashing light.
One of the orange, ones.
Yeah.
And it worked as well.
Yeah.
It was a proper
working one. The batteries are gigantic.
Really big battery that you probably shouldn't put your tongue on.
No.
Because it hurts. But, and then I had something else. And I was like, and I had them in my room when I was a teenager. And my parents just kind of went. And then I nicked a pint glass from a pub. And they went spare about it.
What, they were okay with the road light?
Yeah.
The road light could have caused a massive accident because of a lack of light.
And the pint glass
Can't cause an accident.
and they've got hundreds of the things, but they went, no, those are worth money, and that's the landlords. I don't think they said the landlord will be looking for that. I don't think landlords are like shepherds where they go, counted them out, counted them all back in again. 424 glasses, that's what I've got. And so, didn't steal any. Well, I did steal pint glasses again, I just didn't tell my mum and dad. Because apparently that is a real crime.
You bad bastard. I want to talk about... So our food for tonight got delivered on an e-bike that was, I don't think, modified, although we know that many e-bikes are. I want to talk about something I saw a couple of days ago. I want to talk about Twingo face.
Before you do that, sorry to interrupt, can you hear a beeping? Yeah.
What? Who is it? What is it?
No, it's coming from the poster behind us.
It's coming from a poster. Is it?
What's beeping?
No, it's up there. It's up there.
Oh. Tesla mission.
Accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy.
Is it receiving signals from that roadster they fired into space?
And it's talking to that one.
Oh, it's talking to that one. As an aside, we've got the Tesla Roadster here by the stage. If anyone wants some Metro door mirrors in carbon fibre, I won't tell. After all, I'm a pint glass thief, the lowest of the low, and us criminals should stick together.
I reckon it's that door.
Oh, it's the security thing on that door.
It might be telling you that you've left your door open when you shouldn't.
Hang on, go quiet. Cracked it, yes.
Yeah, sorted.
Good.
This is exciting, isn't it? Amazing.
What do they do at that podcast recording? Well, they successfully traced an annoying beep
Do you know what?
by closing a door. And then we all went home.
For the purposes of the people not in the room who are just listening, I'm going to take my coat off to reveal something.
What the shit is that?
This, my friends, is something that I found when I stumbled across the stolen sign about dog's mess that I found.
Yeah.
This is something I bought from a Welsh charity shop. I'm going to say it was about 1998.
Yeah.
Don't know why I've still got it, but I think it's because I've never seen since, ever, and I doubt anyone else in the audience has either, what is sort of a magician's shirt. However, it's got a waistcoat sewn into it.
Only half of it. But then on the back,
hang on,
it's got half a waistcoat as well.
Where's the... Oh, it's here.
Oh, I see.
Hang on. Shit. There, so, yeah.
For the benefit of people listening at home, Johnny's waistcoat ran away from him. Or half of it did. And was hiding behind him.
Genuinely, I've never seen one before. Have you?
You know when you do theatre, you have to do a quick thing.
Yeah. It's a theatre shirt. Is it?
It's a quick change theatre shirt.
I bought it. It was still in the packet from this charity shop, and my friend bought one that was gold, pure gold. And my everlasting memory is we went to a car festival where we may or may not have been drunk for the entire weekend, and we wore these while we were piloting folding girls' bicycles. I might have told you this as an old story. We took it in turns to try and remove the pin that folded the girls' bicycles, and we would challenge one another to ride as fast as we could down a big hill whilst the frame was bending. With these on. Now, this predates social media, thank fuck. Because my friend also did it with nothing on from the waist down and with the gold version of this shirt on. Different times.
Was this?
Different times.
I think I know which friend this was.
Yes.
Have I met him?
Yes, you have.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is basically a relic. A very confusing relic. So a theatrical quick change shirt with integral waistcoat. Shit.
This reminds me that earlier on when I had to run into the Arndale Centre to go and buy an audio lead.
Look who it's made by.
It's made by Euro... What does that say?
I think it says Euro...
Euro Connection.
Euro Connection.
London-Paris.
I don't believe it, though. Now, listen.
Here,
I am serious because the dedication of the audience and people who come to these live gigs is such, and it still continues to blow me away. I am willing to give this away tonight. All right? Yeah. That's not even funny. That's just serious. Intake of breath like you did. That was incredible.
So if you could all start preparing your reasons why you don't want to go home with that.
Yes.
Does it smell? I didn't smell it. Does it smell?
It's not too bad. No, it's just what I say.
Does it?
I'm going to start the sentence with not being funny, but without saying a racist slur like some people do when they say that. I'm going to say, imagine the combination of these two things.
Brute
followed by a
sports
night out in that city there.
and a quick change waistcoat shirt.
Shit.
I'm trying to imagine the play you'd have to be in
The magician's
where you'd suddenly
play.
need to be wearing a waistcoat and then not wearing a waistcoat. Please don't. There's something unsavoury about it and I don't want it near me.
Honestly, I really smiled. I've not seen it in such a long time.
I wonder if, presumably discarded by an Amdram society or something.
I think it was unused. It was still wrapped.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So I think even they were like, nah, our plays aren't that shit. Not going near it.
So
Not interested.
when I was in the Arndale earlier on, it's a labyrinth in there. I did see they moved it all around like everything else in Manchester just to annoy me. And I found Curry's and then I couldn't find my way back to Jonny, who was waiting outside in a fast-moving Kia. And
I hid with the hazard warning lights on behind some bins, and then, of all the times, the bin lorry came along. And they just went, yeah, all right. I'm really sorry. I had to do like an 80-point turn to get away from them. It was embarrassing.
But I finally orientated myself because I realised I'd come in through the food court. So I was like, right, food court, heading there. I was just getting to the escalator to go up to it, when out the corner of my eye, I saw a fancy dress shop. And I had a little Father Dougal moment where I was a bit like, escalator back to Jonny, fancy dress shop. Fancy dress. I could go and buy some fancy dress for tonight. And I was that close. And then sensible brain went, no, Johnny's waiting outside and the Kia's just been loaded into the back of a bin lorry like a wheelie bin. So I better go. But I was sort of imagining that maybe, I don't know, Catherine of Aragon and a wetsuit. Or an astronaut suit, either way.
Save it for next time, because I've got a magician shirt.
I was almost going to
I
wear...
don't need any other outfit at all.
No, well...
And neither do you. You could rip the waistcoat off, detach it somehow if you wanted. But it's built in, it's great.
I will treasure that thought, but I am going to give it back to you.
Okay.
Can we talk about Britain's worst roads? And I don't mean like in terms of accidents or just congestion or something like that. I'm talking about road surface. Britain's most absolutely shockingly...
worst road surfaces.
Yes.
Chapter 1.
Chapter 1. Because it's not in one place, it's in many places, but it is this. The exits from motorway service areas.
Oh, yeah.
What the merry frigging fuck is going on?
Yeah.
I swear to God, like the way in is as smooth as you like. You could play snooker on the way into Hilton Park Services. You need crampons and fucking ropes to get out again. I saw an Igo get swallowed whole this morning. It's like, I do not understand it. If anyone is listening from Welcome Break or the other one...
Gorodano?
Gorodano, what are they called? The other lot? It doesn't matter. Sort yourselves out, people.
Yeah.
I genuinely don't understand why it's so bad, because I go, maybe it's the lorries. There's lots of lorries. But the lorries are coming in. I don't get why they don't resurface the way out again.
Supercars drive in and then they hang around the car park and they end up swapping their car straight for like an old Daihatsu 4-track.
Yeah.
Just to get out.
Shmee he lives now.
In the services?
No, he just lives in Reading Services. He can't get out again because he's got too many supercars. Every time he goes here, I'll just stay for a minute, go for a piss.
That's it.
And some snacks. And he's not actually Swedish, is he?
I know.
He's trying to do, but because he has that thing, he has the schmuseum, doesn't he? So I imagine he puts a shirt in front of everything. I'm just going for a shit and some snacks. And then I'm going to drive my supercar back out onto the motorway, slip road. But he can't because it's too rutted. He's going to take his carbon fibre splitter off. Sorry, splitter. And so he's up Shit Creek.
Oh. How has this happened?
I genuinely don't know. And I'm hopefully sort of searching for answers. I feel like our listeners are clever and someone will know.
Is that a universal spot for Caterpillar track vehicles being unloaded from flatbed lorries? Only at the end of the service,
yes,
not at the beginning.
Or trucks transporting landmines, accelerating violently onto the motorway and the cargo falling off.
They do a standing start at the junction to get away, and one rolls off. Happens all the time.
It is. I'm glad that you're on board with this, audience, because it's something that mystifies me and annoys me because I feel like it's going to damage a rim sometime soon. Because it's at the point where you want to accelerate as well.
Yeah, it is.
You can't accelerate if you've just accidentally plunged into the San Andreas Trench on the way out of Knutsford services. So that's my beef for the week.
I heard the song Mustang Sally the other day. Yeah, I know. I can't decide if I'm bored of it or not. But
you've had plenty of time.
Well, and then I thought to myself, well, hang on, Mustangs. I see a lot of Mustang material on the internet. So it should be something along the lines of Mustang Sally. Guess you better leave that really early cars and coffee a little bit more carefully. That's as far as I got with that one.
Does it actually go, Mustang Sally, you better ride that
slow
Mustang
that Mustang
home
down.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Is that what it really says?
Yeah.
So it is about being a car.
It's a road safety song. It's just but it's an open letter to Mustang owners, I suspect. Hence the term Mustang
Forgive
Sally.
my ignorance about that song, but is it actually about a horse or is it about a car, genuinely?
I think it's about a car. Can we have a vote? Is Mustang Sally about a horse? Hands up. One hand. One hand for the horse.
A really embarrassed hand as well. A horse? No.
And do you know what? They did an ultra shit version called a Mustang 2 Sally, which was just not as good.
90s Mustang Sally.
It's like
really disappointing.
Grease 2. Has anybody seen Grease 2 more than once? More than once? Have you?
What?
Seriously. Amazing.
I've
You're the only one. You're the only one.
I've never seen Grease 2.
It's so gash.
Is that the strapline on the posters?
Yes.
Grease 1, you're the one that I want. Grease 2, it's so gash. Actually, on reflection, quite a misleading... Yeah, that's open to interpretation.
You're the one that I want on that side of things. Ooh. Olivia would have been amazing at that.
Are the original cast not in Grease 2?
No, nobody that anyone wants is in Grease 2. It's who, sorry?
What, sorry?
It's French.
Frenchie's in it. Oh,
I bet she was pissed right off. She signed up and no one else.
Yeah. You are doing it, right, John? Are you breaking up? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Grease 2, don't. Just don't. It's motorcycle based as well. I like motorbikes. Just not interesting, though, in that context.
How do they explain the absence of everyone except Frenchie?
I don't know. I can't remember.
Does it just start with a bus accident or something? And then you go, and then it's just Frenchie weeping on a motorcycle for 90 minutes.
Is it like the foreign translation of the film Speed with Keanu Reeves? Did we not talk about that?
We might have done.
It says it's called Fart, isn't it?
Yes, in Sweden, I think it is.
In Sweden, it's called Fart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a fart speed, just fart.
Hang on, is it the second Fast and Furious film that's got none of the original cast in it? Or the third one? I can't remember.
Third, Tokyo Drift.
Okay. I should know this, but I don't. I always get them mixed up. I know, I watched them all in one go. And
I still can't believe that
it
you
was
did
quite
that.
intense. But that's it. They've all blurred into one. So, but yeah, because was he sure? But Vin Diesel wasn't in the second one.
Yes.
And then he went, "Oh wait, this is doing all right. I'm coming back." I thought this was going to be Grease 2, but it was actually Godfather 2. So I'm in again. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
It's a tricky one as an actor. If you go, shall I go back for more, or should I just leave it?
Vin's in now, that's it, isn't it?
Oh, Vin's really in.
Yeah.
You can't get Vin out.
No.
They don't want Vin in anymore,
No,
but he won't.
no.
He won't leave it.
No.
Him and who's the other gone? The guy, male pattern baldness, growling.
The Rock?
The Rock.
Yeah.
Because The Rock was out because Vin was in, and then Vin said, "Well, I'm not going," and The Rock went, "Well, screw you, I'm coming back in then, just to annoy you."
Was John Cena in there as well? 'Cause
Yes.
He was in there as well. A well-known helmsman of the Civic,
Yes.
which I like about John. I like-
Also, quite a low talker, I think. Is he not? He's a bit of a...
Yeah, he is, yeah.
Everybody in that film, audio engineers on that film,
Oh.
just faders all up to maximum because there's so much whispering. And then they go, "Who have you got for the next one?" To the producers. And they go, "Oh, we got Jason Statham." Oh, for fuck's sake. What next? Ross Kemp? Or the bloke who plays Phil Mitchell? Haven't we got enough whispery male pattern baldness to last us a lifetime?
We haven't talked about Ross Kemp on this podcast for years.
Have I,
It's the best.
I told my Ross Kemp stories.
About when the Top Gear era.
Yeah. Have I told this? I'm sorry, I'm getting old and confused. This is a bit name droppy, but there were some TV awards and we had a party in a hotel next door to where the awards were when I was working on Top Gear. And Ross Kemp showed up because he was friends at the time with Jeremy Clarkson. And Ross Kemp was really, really nice. Like, he was just talking to anyone in the room and he was very, very affable and stayed for ages. A few other celebrities sort of stuck their heads in and then went off to a better party. Ross, we couldn't shake him, but it was fine. He was good fun. He was nice. I turned around at one point and he was there at the bar with a couple of my colleagues and he was standing on one leg like this going, "See, the SAS could do this for 5 hours." Or something like that.
What?
So he's full of the good chat. And then the party was wrapping up, but the evening was not over. And we decided we were going to go to a club in town. And Ross Kemp was coming with us.
Ross Kemp on clubs. Yeah.
And so we all just
I'm
put
going in.
outside.
I've seen
Yeah.
some disco biscuits. There's powder in the right-hand corner. I'm not going near that. There's some dodgy fucks near the toilet. They're trying to splash on some cologne onto me. I'm not giving them any money. Not even a quid. All right. If I'm not back out in the next hour,
Cover me.
call the Coast Guard. Because I'm serious, the gents is flooded as...
And there's a lot of boot cuts in here. There's going to be some wicking going down.
Ross Kemp,
Jump on boot cuts. The back's getting dangerously worn. Looks like a Palladian arch back there, but of denim. Now, what happened was we flagged down some taxis outside and we just all piled in, quick as you can. Come on, guys, let's go. And I got in and I sat in, in a black cab on the fold-down seat facing backwards and I'm sitting opposite Ross Kemp. And we talked earlier in the evening and he was very nice. And then we're trundling, and there's a couple of my other colleagues in the cab, and we're trundling along, and Ross, making conversation, just went, "So, Richard, you're a writer?" And I went, yeah, I write TV stuff, yeah. And he went, "It's good to know."
What?
And I went, "All right, so what, you got you got some projects on the go that you might need a writer for, Ross?" And he went, "Nothing specific, but it's always good to know good people."
Oh, really?
And I felt like I was being recruited for the special forces.
It's always good to know good people.
Yeah. And I was like, Ross thinks I'm good people. He's not even seen my writing. It's fucking awful. But it's always good to know good people. And then there was a random lady in the cab who was a friend of a friend. And we're trundling again through London still. And Ross suddenly went, "If this club goes tits up, we could all go back to mine and have a dip in the pool."
He said if this club goes tits up.
Tits up. Again,
Whoa.
very much a mission vibe to it.
Yeah.
And this random lady said, "A pool? You've got a pool?" Yeah. You live in London? Yeah. You don't do as many years in the business as I have and not get a pool in London.
No way. Is that what...
Yeah. Now, subsequently, I've met someone who's been to Ross Kemp's house, and they said, yeah, Ross has got a pool, but it's really tiny. I mean, he lives in London. And I went, yeah, you don't do as many years in the business as Ross has without having a pool in London.
Without a really small pool in London. Yeah.
Ross also... No, I'm not going to tell this. I feel like I'm betraying a confidence because I sort of collect Ross Kemp stories. I have to reiterate, when I met Ross Kemp, and I've met him twice now, clang, he's really, really nice, but he is fully like he's in the SAS a bit. And my mate who saw his small pool, which apparently makes the downstairs of his house smell of chlorine, even though it's in the basement. And
That's a bit kidnappy, isn't it?
Well, where are you going to put? You can't put the pool upstairs. It's too heavy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's trying to mask
I
something.
talked to the architect about it, but he said that's going to go tits up, Ross. Pool wants to be low. I was right, because I know good people in the architecture business. So I can't remember where I was. Oh yeah, so no, my friend went around to Ross Kemp's house, and he was looking out of his front windows, and they were very sort of manky, brown, filmy, sort of on the glass. And he was like, bloody hell, Ross, you need to get a window cleaner around here. And he went, no, blast-proof film. Ross, you live in South London. It's not that, like, rough.
Blast-proof?
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, I had a tip-off from a mate at the Met. He said, someone's out to get you. We don't know who it is, but take care.
Is that...
So Ross believed that someone's going to bomb his house. I reiterate, nice guy, but...
Sweet
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
I think I'm done for Ross Kemp stories now.
Do you know what? The new...
I've just remembered another one.
What?
I told you I collect them. I might have to edit all this out,
Go
I
on,
don't know.
Roll with it.
Sorry, last one. A friend of mine worked on he did a show where he was embedded with the armed police in Birmingham. And it was actually, there was a lot of just sitting around because thankfully there's not a lot of call for the armed police all the time. And they just sit around in McDonald's waiting for the call, which sometimes never comes. And they embedded a crew and Ross with them for hours and days and over many weeks and months to try and get this show, enough footage for this show. And Ross came in the office and my friend was there and she was thinking, bloody hell, Ross is carrying a bit of timber. I think Ross has bulked up in the wrong kind of way. It must be all the sitting around waiting for something to happen with the Birmingham police. And she said, you're right, Ross. And he went, yeah. She said, how's the filming going? Yeah, not a lot of action. I've just been sitting around at McDonald's. He's like, oh, God. It's quite boring, but also, temptation to eat burgers. And he went, no, it's all right, don't do that. I just eat the nuggets because they're not fattening.
Ross Kemp like, on diet.
Ross Kemp.
Or not, as the case may be.
And she had to sort of go, how do I tactfully break it to the talent that they are fattening Ross and you are very much the poster boy for that? I think he's shed it again now that he's just not sitting with a load of gun-toting brummies in a Mackie D's near Longbridge. Sorry, I interrupted with a Ross Kemp story. I promise I'm done with Ross Kemp stories.
I thought
unless I remember
good
another one.
solid Ross Kemp stories.
Please tell me. He'll stand up at the back and go, I said you were a good people. You've betrayed me.
I was going to talk about DSG tromboning for a second, if that's all right. Haven't talked about it on the podcast for a while.
No.
But this week I've discovered the new form of tromboning that might eclipse DSG tromboning, actually. Disturbingly. It's in the sky. And I'm specific here, it's light leisure aircraft travelling against the wind.
Oh.
Okay. And when you're trying to film something which involves audio, it's a bastard.
Oh, yes.
Because they won't go away. Fuck's sake. You can't get beyond the wind, turn back. It's like treading water. You're still there. You're definitely still there in the same spot. It went on forever.
They're the airborne equivalent of James May and Colin Goodwin in that deflating dinghy on the River Thames trying to go against the tidal flow.
It is havoc.
Do you
on
think
audio. Havoc.
I know physics-wise this is probably impossible. Do you think there's ever a point where someone in a Cessna has just technically stopped?
Yeah.
No, we're not going anywhere.
Someone listening to this podcast or in the room is familiar with the aeronautical industry. I'm sure they'll know. Because
in theory, if the headwind was strong enough that it's causing air to pass over the plane's wings, that's creating lift.
Yeah.
Anyone an aeronautical engineer? There's a man nodding with what looks like conviction.
Are we talking bollocks, or does that sound feasible?
Hey, Manchester Airport's only down the road. Let's get down there now. We could try this out.
Everybody go! So yeah, it's just that really annoying light aircraft. And the other thing that pisses me off about it is that there's no specific purpose for them to be up there. You know what it is? It's definitely just some person that's got a few quid and gone, I'm going to start learning how to fly. Yeah, I'm going to do that. And it's always on a Tuesday at like 12, midday.
Because, when the weather's bad, and the AA or somebody will go, it's going to snow a bit tomorrow, so please, only make your journey if it's absolutely necessary. And you go, it's a shame, because I was going to get in my car and just drive around a bit.
I know.
It just never happens, does it? I can't think of a circumstance where you just don't go for a leisure drive or just go, I'm a bit bored, I think I'll drive around for a bit. But people in planes like that is exactly all they do.
That is all they do.
And usually, I bet if you went up to one of them and they're about to take off and went, where are you going? They'd go, back here.
Yeah. Yeah. And also sometimes...
Not without your fucking keys, you're not. You could throw them in a hedge. I mean, I wouldn't. I don't mind them. But you, clearly, it's a beef.
Well, look, I thought they'd gone away. Maybe there was a cloud. I couldn't see it or anything. And I couldn't hear the sound. I thought, they've gone. And then I don't know much about planes. I'm guessing they must have dipped the clutch and bump started it or something. Because it just suddenly, out of nowhere, just...
Oh, yeah, they do that, don't they?
You're like, what were you doing on the run-up to that?
Have they got gearboxes that we didn't know about?
I don't know.
Because sometimes, particularly in a small, low-powered car, and you're sort of labouring up a hill, and you have to do that thing where it feels like you're about to stop because you're sort of in third, you go, it's not enough. But they do that, don't they, in planes? And maybe it's against the wind. You're, I'm going to have to knock it into second.
I don't know what they were doing.
So I can get back to where I came from.
Or they did that sort of like dad spec thing where you knock it into neutral and waggle it a couple of times and then just sit for a bit and go, yeah, it's cool. We're not nosediving. Just let it be for a while.
Do you know what you should do if these people anger you so much? You should wait until they're just taking off. They've just left the ground.
Yeah.
And then just dump a bucket of slurry onto their Saab so they can see. Because I imagine they all have Saabs.
Yeah.
Because they like planes.
Yeah. Of course.
Just going to pop the key down there I do in my plane.
I was going to ask the farmer who I rent the office from. They've got a field next door. He's got gang mowers. I was going to get him to mow a massive cock. With balls and hair, detail, come on, detail. And then so that they fly over and go, look, massive flute and bag down there. That's fun, isn't it?
I'm imagining you doing that because you remember the way that Tony Hart, I know people in this room remember Tony Hart, you know that fantastic way that he would sort of start drawing. He'd probably start with like a big marker pen and then he'd sort of slowly go down and he'd sort of maybe get a bit of chalk and then he'd get just a little ballpoint or something like that and he'd be just doing these wonderful bits of art really quickly but sort of in gradually finer detail.
Yeah. Just
picturing you with the gang mower and then with a ride on and then with a little hand mower and then finally with a strimmer just getting all the pubes right.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's a couple of days you're going to be out there doing that. But a word of caution for you, my friend.
What's that?
I heard a story about years ago. There was a farmer in Wales who got really annoyed with the RAF constantly buzzing his farm, basically in their trainer jets and tornadoes, whatever it was at that point. And he got so angry about it that he went up onto one of his big cowshed roofs and in huge letters he wrote, "Fuck off, RAF." Counterproductive move because back at the mess at RAF, wherever, they're all going, have you seen that nutter who's written fuck off RAF on his roof? No, give me the coordinates. Every single aircraft the RAF has ever owned was suddenly overhead. They got Chinooks, they got Hercules. Someone had dusted off a Spitfire. All go, oh, look at that. Yeah, hello.
I think also what I might do, so start with gang mowers, go down to ride on, then push behind, and then when I think I've finished, but there's still detail to be done, I'll get one of those robot mowers that come out in the middle of the night and they just do little strands here and there neatly. I'll set them up with some specialist coordinates. Just see what happens there.
Good.
I won't do it.
No, I'd like to see you try.
No, before we were interrupted by that mysterious sound that was actually that automated door, I wanted to talk about Twingo face.
Oh, sorry, yes.
Now, you know the first generation Twingo?
Yeah.
Could you do an expression of its face? Ooh. It has a specific face, the Twingo face.
It's not... Is it smiling? It's smiling with its eyes, like a supermodel.
Its eyes, it lifts its eyes. Now, there's method to the madness.
Yeah.
Because I think I saw a guy making a Twingo face a couple of days ago.
I'm hearing Lady Gaga now. Twingo face.
So picture the scene, guys. E-bike, early morning commute, definitely hacked. He was doing about 40 miles an hour with fingerless gloves on. And he had what I can only describe as a Twingo face. I think it was a combination of cold, because, weather had dipped a bit. It was probably 2 degrees. He was getting a bit of a lick on this totally not legal e-bike.
Yeah.
And just had a permanent Twingo face. And then I thought to myself, I've seen Twingo faces before. We've all seen Twingo faces in the past. Best place for a Twingo face? Theme parks, where they take the photo.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. The flash goes off and you know that 1 in 4 people on the log flume has got a Twingo face.
But almost like the never-seen Renault Sport version of the Twingo with a bigger intake, because they're quite often going...
Yeah.
Sports Twingo face.
That is sporty Twingo face. That's probably one of the... That's Ghost Train.
Yes.
Theme park.
Yeah.
Because, some wrong-uns dressed up as a werewolf or something and tapped you on the shoulder. Bloody hate Ghost Trains. They're so disappointing.
Yeah, they're not that scary, are they?
The last one I went on was at the end of Brighton Pier, I think it was, and it was crap. It cost me 10 quid.
10 quid?
10 quid, and it wasn't scary at all.
To have someone just sort of wave a slightly jizz-smelling handkerchief in your face.
That's nothing to do with the Ghost Train, Richard.
That was just the last time I went to Brighton.
A jizzy handkerchief? Maybe a rubber spider, but no.
But they always have, it's just like a manky, musty handkerchief being waved around by a student in a sort of a shit pound shop fancy dress costume. Maybe going, at you.
Honestly, it was
not
really
scary.
Like a red light underneath a rubber skeleton.
Yeah.
In an old treasure chest. It looked shit.
Those
slightly scary.
Those are the 2 pillars of the Ghost Train, really. Musty handkerchiefs and uplighting. And that's it. Everything's uplit.
We'll ask this a bit later. Has anyone actually been on a Ghost Train and been scared? As an adult, can I just put that in there as a child? No, nobody's putting their hand up.
No, because they're not scary.
No.
Unless you're frightened of uplighting.
Yeah.
In which case, don't go to a luxury country hotel. They've got fucking loads of it there as well.
Or jizzy handkerchiefs.
They sometimes have there at luxury hotels as well, but you have to ask behind the reception. Don't know where this is going. Somewhere bad. Shall I change the subject?
Yeah, please. Yeah.
One thing, I keep meaning to bring this up on the podcast. I've written something down for this. Audi is changing its badging system again.
What, because it might have realised that the outgoing one's total shite?
Completely baffling. Well, the one they've just announced they're going to change is the one they've only been doing for a couple of years, which was that they were going to do even numbers for EVs and odd numbers for internal combustion cars. So, as a consequence, the replacement for the petrol and diesel-powered A4 became the A5, even though there already was an A5.
It was a coupe.
Yeah. But to make way for an A4, which is an EV, and the A6 can't be a petrol car anymore, but there is an A6 because that's an EV, but it's okay because there's also going to be an A7, but it's not quite the way the A7 was. You can see where the confusion started to arise, even within Audi, who've gone, no, this is stupid, forget it, forget we ever mentioned it. Slightly embarrassing for them.
You can keep talking, but I just need a bit of Aramis.
No, please don't. I'm begging you, please don't. Johnny, don't. Johnny, it's disgusting.
No, not that one. No, is it too much? Hang on.
It's really unpleasant smell. Oh, my God.
Oh, shit, I need a pass. Shit, I'll do it over here.
Johnny's now locked out of the room on the door that he closed. Why do you do this to yourself?
I just need... Sometimes it's like a coping mechanism, I think.
Well, to get over the Audi range.
That does smell like sort of slightly burnt exhaust body kit.
Oh.
You know when someone puts an aftermarket exhaust, it's too close to the back
it's too close
bumper.
to something else, yeah.
And it's a little bit of singeing. Usually a bit of like on the limit of parping in a car park, and it starts to melt onto that. Don't smell me in the interval.
What I realised, just the reason I bring this up is because they've already dropped their other system, which was that a car got a 2-digit number to show you how much power it had got. Yeah. But obviously it wasn't the number of the actual amount of horsepower because that would be too logical. They had that system since 2017. I looked this up because I was like, I can't remember how it worked. It's even worse than I remember. If you see an Audi that says, fuck, I'm getting a stench of that aftershave now.
I'm so sorry. I'm really sorry. I don't know what to do now.
If you see an Audi with 30 on the back, that denotes that it has between 109 and 128 horsepower.
What?
Snappy. And if it says, as another example, 45 on the back, that means between 226 and 248 horsepower. And unsurprisingly, they've now dropped this system for being absolute dog shit. So
that must have cost them a fortune.
I know. And there's all those cars that are still out there with people going, bought a new Audi, Dave. Has it got 30 horsepower? No, piss off. It's got between 109 and 128 horsepower, as you well know.
That is top-level artistry, piss artistry, isn't it? Now, I did want to talk about... have you ever stepped on a cactus before?
Do you know, I haven't.
Has anybody... Yeah.
There's someone...
Yeah. Was it conventional or was it prickly?
Remember that we can't hear what they're saying if you have a conversation with a person over there who doesn't have a microphone.
No, it's all right. I'll repeat. Was it traditional trad cactus or prickly pear? Trad, so quite serious spikes. I've got a prickly pear at home, Rich.
That's the one with the flat.
Very flat, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And I came back from being away for a few days on a job and my prickly pear was on the floor. It had been knocked down by either the sun or...
Is that how the sun works?
Well, I think the soil had dried out to the point where the pot had maybe...
Oh, it destabilised
because it's quite a tall listing thing.
Yeah.
Or the cat had knocked it over. You decide which is more likely. And so it was on the floor and there was soil everywhere and I was like, shit. So it was late. So I did the only logical thing was I turned the light off and shut the door and went to bed. And then...
Because maybe the moon would pick it up again.
Just... Now, you're probably thinking, I know what he did. He woke up the next morning really tired and walked over a cactus. That's not what happened. The next morning...
I feel like this story is going to become as complicated as the Audi badging system.
No. And there is a car connection here. So I went into the lounge and I saw the soil and the cactus and I thought, must sort that. Went in, put the cactus up back on the pot, got the vacuum cleaner and vacuumed the surplus soil up. I was wearing just socks. At the time, nothing felt out of place.
Okay.
Hadn't considered for a second that it's a prickly pear. You know what they do, don't they? They drop those little bastard spines. Yeah. Realised I was running late for work. Shit. Shoes on, in the car. I was in a Porsche Spider RS, I'll have you know. All right? And I was ready.
Sort of half expecting an ooh there.
Yeah.
Don't worry, it's too late now. Don't worry, you have to.
And I was all ready to do some B-road work, which I did.
Work.
Yeah, as soon as the temperature of the oil came up, we were doing B-road work. However, I was wearing thick socks. It's the only way I can describe that the sensation took a while to come through. The throttle wasn't a problem, but the brake was a big problem.
God.
And I found this out when someone reversed out of a gateway on a blind corner.
Fuck.
Yes. I hit the brakes hard, and those Porsches have got quite a bite, the RS model.
Yeah.
Might be carbon jobbers. Well, excruciating pain from my right foot, where I've obviously got several spines of prickly pear woven into my mountaineering socks. I wear them all year round. I get cold feet. Oh,
So,
yeah.
But there's...
Very nearly crashed, then had to drive for quite some time, trying not to brake at all. Using downshifts and just acting like a complete bell, because of course that engine revs to 9 thou.
Oh, God.
So you can shift it down several gears and it's still just singing.
Yeah.
And I look like a total flute.
But you didn't notice the spines of the socks just walking, so it was the extra pressure of braking
It was
triggered the threshold of prickly pear in sock.
I had to get
That
to work.
well-known situation that all normal human beings have been in.
I had to get to work, take my sock off, turn it inside out, and had to pull spines out of my actual toes.
Like in a Tom and Jerry cartoon where one of them accidentally falls into a porcupine.
Yes, just like that. But they weren't having to deal with a Porsche RS, which I was at the time.
Yes, I don't think Tom ever got a Porsche RS to try and capture Jerry.
So I'm now trying to work out whether I should keep my prickly pear, whether I should smash it up in the garden. So the jury's out on that one.
I foresee you trying to wallop it with a shovel and it flying up into the air and jamming itself into your head. Something you only fully notice when you then are required to put on a crash helmet some days later, and you're suddenly in excruciating skull pain under the G-forces of lapping, I don't know, Cadwell Park.
If I wore contact lenses, I'd probably put it strategically close to my collection of daily use contact lenses or something.
Oh, God.
you
I've
imagine?
just realised something.
What?
Before we started doing this, we hadn't had dinner, and it's a famous failing amongst us two that we always sort of forget to eat when we do these shows, and then have to bolt some food. And we thought we were being clever. We ordered a Deliveroo from Nando's. It's a little place I know in Manchester. I don't know if you've heard of it. And but it turned up a bit later than we wanted, so we absolutely bolted it. But I just realised we hadn't got any cutlery, and I ate a big, basically half a chicken with my bare hands. But I slathered a load of extra hot sauce on it. I've got to take my lenses out later.
Oh, no.
I might as well do it with a jackhammer.
You might as well do it. Or a cactus.
The car, not the plant. That's going to be agony. Shit.
I would do it for you, but is that like a creepy scene out of Ghost?
Yeah, that's
It takes someone's daily
too
contact
intimate.
lenses
That'd be
out.
like trying to brush someone else's teeth. It's just too weird.
No. It's not cool.
Yeah, I've got the peri McCarthy sauce on my fingers. It's the sauce that doesn't ever mention it was the Stig on the after dinner speaking circuit. I have a question for the audience. Well, first a little explainer. I am about to turn 50, and so midlife crisis is in full swing. I've had a Porsche. That was all right. I'm not going to ride a motorbike. I'm too much of a coward. But obviously one of the other things that then hoves into view is tattoos. Not naturally inclined to get a tattoo, but my wife she's a little bit younger than me, but she is also full MLC territory now. And so she's determined to get a tattoo. And she went, we should both get them. And I was like, hey, I'm not sure about that. And she went, well, I think it'd be fun. Think of something you'd want to get.
Smith and Sniff tattoo. Easy.
Well,
On that side of things across your back. Don't fuck about.
It's all the way up my arm, across my back and down the other arm. No, that's the worst thing. I thought, and I thought, and I thought, and I couldn't stop thinking about the British Leyland logo. Because I thought, it's like ages ago my wife said she was going to get a tattoo, and she went, I just don't know what to get. I want something that really confers strength. And I went, what about an anvil? And she went off the idea. So she's now quite serious about it. She's found a design she really likes. It's quite simple and quite elegant. But she sort of has said, have you thought of anything you'd want to get if you were going to do it? And I still think of the British Leyland logo, but I can't think of a way of breaking it to her that that's what I would want to have done. So I was wondering, has anybody here got a car-related tattoo? Oh, I'm going to come out into the audience because I didn't expect this response. Please tell me, what have you got?
Before you asked me, this is my dad, and I think he's just learned about this tattoo now.
What? No way. No
that deserves
way.
more of a round of applause than that just got. I'm out in the audience on the precipice of a family argument. I feel like Jerry Springer. Go on then, what have you got?
On my leg, I've got a exploded diagram of the GT40 gearbox from the first Le Mans GT40 that they did.
Oh my God.
Dad, if you don't tell me you're very proud, I'm going to be disappointed.
Immensely proud. Actually, it's not a surprise.
Because you've got the engine exploded on your inner thigh.
I was thinking, if you had the Leyland tattoo, would you not have a breakdown?
That's my arm would fall off. It'd be really annoying. Has anybody else got a car-related tattoo? There's a man in an excellent Austin Rover logo T-shirt over here.
I was just going to say, while I don't, I was considering the exact same tattoo that you're considering, and I thought about getting a little plug hole Leyland somewhere upon my body. Good shout, yeah.
What about
if you get one, I'll definitely get one.
Anybody else? One more. There's right at the back here.
What about if you got 3/4 of the Leyland done and then you wrote on strike?
Oh, hello. I've got actual evidence of 2 pistons.
The MR2
and the
Screaming Eagle. I've got 2 pistons and the MR2 Screaming Eagle.
Oh, nice.
2 hat.
Are you traveling?
any particular Japanese sports cars you're interested in, or just generally?
Surprisingly, I've got a classic Mini, so,
I've got a rotten subframe on my leg. So we should probably wrap this up, Johnny. But
This is immense.
I feel like I've entered into a legally binding agreement to get a British Leyland tattoo with another man I've just met.
Well,
It's like Brighton all over again.
I just wanted to end this one maybe with a small bit of audience participation. When you've just done some audience participation, but I realised this morning it's the 20th anniversary since the launch of the Range Rover Spowat. So I thought you could shout Range Rover.
No, you know I don't like doing this.
I know, that's...
Because, and the reason is I find it frightening and it makes me feel like a cult leader, and I get called a cult enough.
It's like Panto, but less creepy, I think. No? Okay.
Anyway, anyone else got like a racing driver tattooed on their arse?
No.
Yeah, got Jack Villeneuve on my left buttock, mate.
Listen, I'm going to do it. I'm going to shout Range Rover. You shout fucking Spowat. Let's just try this. Range Rover. I love it. Love it. Love it. I was going to read an extract of the Honda Prelude Haynes manual.
Yeah, well, we've run out of time.
We have.
But before we wrap this up, I have 3 things to tell you. The first one is that Johnny is engaged in a project to lobby the female star of Stranger Things to launch a musical career, but only singing the hits of a weird 80s prog rock band under the stage name Marillion Bobby Brown. If that's not to your taste, and why would it be? There's also the Late Break Show.
I just don't understand how you've got the energy to find these things, Joe. Meridian Bobby.
I know, we're reaching now.
Okay.
Good. And then the second thing I have to say is a massive thank you to everyone here at Tesla Manchester for having us. A big thank you to Lisa, who some of you may have met on our merchandise stall. And thank you to all of you for coming down here and being our audience this evening. We really appreciate it.
We do.
So thank you particularly to you guys.
Yeah.
And the third thing I've got to tell you is I think lots of people know that story about Van Halen used to famously have a rider when they were playing live that said no brown M&Ms. Do we know that story? Yeah. And the actual supposed excuse for that was not they were very fussy. It was that if they got in the dressing room and found there were brown M&Ms, it meant the concert promoter at that venue had not read their demands properly, which meant they hadn't done all the technical stuff they needed on stage. So it was a little landmine to check on people. But the reason I bring this up is because I recently saw a copy of that rider, and it does indeed say no brown M&Ms, or it was from 1982, so it's all in like really splodgy typewriter stuff. But some of the other stuff on their massive list of demands caught my eye. Things on Van Halen's 1982 rider included 2 bottles of Blue Nun.
Really?
And these presumably were not things they were trying to catch out the promoter. They were just things they wanted.
Sounds like our sort of preloading ritual before Smith and Smith.
So yeah, 2 bottles of Blue Nun, some herring in sour cream, freshly baked breads, assorted fresh natural cheeses, 48 bath towels, and 1 large tube of KY jelly.
What?
And of course, no brown M&Ms.
I'm more blown away by the 48 towels than the KY.
There's too many. I feel like maybe there was a Van Halen hotel and they were just stealing them to take to that in a sort of weird reverse towel theft scam. I don't know. But anyway, on that slightly weird note, it's time to end. Thank you for being here in the room. Thank you at home for listening. We'll do this all again very soon. But until then, goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you. You've enjoyed this podcast, but you've had a thought. Is there a way here today that you could show support? Well, you could join our Patreon, what wonders that it brings. Early shows and extra notes on that side of things. You could buy our merchandise, we've mugs and hats but still no ties. One day we will make those pies, but in the meantime, guys, hey guys, like and subscribe, and maybe leave a nice review. Like and subscribe, we know you know just what to do. Like and subscribe, we don't want to take the piss. Like and subscribe, but we were told to ask for this. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.
Probably should have done this during the show, but I just didn't want to, because what happened is he said, I'd love to, he said, what do you do for a living? I went, I kind of write about stuff. And he went, what about? And I said, cars. And he went, I'd love to work with cars for a living. And I said, yeah, it's not bad. And he went, I'd love to do a podcast about cars. And I went,
No, he didn't say that.
I've got one of those. And he went, what's it called? And I went, it's called Smith and Sniff. And he went, right. So I was like, okay.